Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel of 5 Token Reviews, hosted by yours truly of 5, coming straight from my bedroom to you on the internet. Before we go any further guys, make sure you like, you comment. I'm trying to get to 1k subscribers and I need your help, so please subscribe if you haven't, and also share my video so others can subscribe as well. I would really appreciate that. You can follow me on social media, the links will be in the description below. For this video guys, I'm going to be talking about Girlfriend. Yes, let's. It recently came to Netflix, so 8 seasons, and they're all solid. All the seasons were solid, but I'll say the show ended abruptly. Season 8 only has 13 episodes, whereas the others have 22 episodes. And the show got cancelled. We never really got to the end of it, and I feel offended. Like I didn't even know the show got cancelled there, because this is what happened. So I finished watching the 13th episode of season 8. And I was looking for more. Then I asked one of my boys and he said, oh yeah, the show got cancelled. Then he sent me a link and I watched it, and I kind of get the reasoning as to why it got cancelled. But still, at least they should have done like a movie, like one last hurrah, you know, just to end the show. But they never gave us the closure that we needed, and I feel so sad about that. But enough about the ending. Let's actually talk about the meat and bones of the story. So yeah, Girlfriends are about 4 women, you know, living in LA. It focuses on their friendship, their journeys through life, you know, work, relationships, other friendships they might have, and everything in between. And I have to say, it's a very wholesome show, you know. It's a bit explicit, but nothing too crazy. So let's talk about the characters, the main characters. So the first one is Joan Clayton. She's a lawyer. When we meet her, she's quite successful. She works in a big law firm in LA. Then we have Wilkes, who's her assistant. So they happen to be friends, you know, which is kind of weird to me. It's not every day you see people being so close with their assistants, because it can kind of mess up the work, the professional relationship they have. You know, your assistant might not respect you as much as they normally would, and everything in me, and some other things, you know. When your assistant knows your personal life, it can get in the way of your working relationship, obviously. But they're both black women, and there are not a lot of black women in the firm. I think they're the only 2 black women in the firm, which is, you know, which makes sense as to why they're friends. Then we got Toni Childs, who is Joan Clayton's best friend. They've been best friends for 20 something years at the time, and they've known each other from when they were, I think, in high school or so. Then we got Lynn, Searcy. Lynn Searcy has been a friend from college. That's Toni Childs and Joan Clayton's friend since college. So now when Maya and Toni first meet, they don't like each other. You know, they're always like, they send jabs to each other here and there. We're a lot of bitchy to each other. The gold. And yeah, one more character, we got William Dent. Yes, William Dent, the GOAT. He's a black man. So yeah, he's also one of the main characters. But his life was always in relationship to the girls, especially Joan, because he's known Joan from the law firm for about 5 years at the time. Anyway, let's get into the individual characters. So Joan Clayton, her life seems perfect. Her life is very good. She's a successful black woman. She's working in corporate America. Everything is looking good for her. She has a nice house, nice car, nice benefits and whatnot. She loves to do parties. But there's one gaping hole in her life that she can't ignore. She doesn't have a man. And then throughout, you see that her relationship with men never lasts for one reason or the other, you know, and it really troubles her. And it took her a long time to just be okay with the fact that, you know, singlehood or singleness is not the worst fate in the world. But at the time, like, it was really irking her. People use it to throw shots at her. That's what they always used against her, you know. And she also uses it against herself sometimes. Like, you know what, she wants to make a joke sometimes, but like, oh yeah, I don't have a man, blah blah blah. So she used that like to make jokes on herself as well. So you can see that her self-esteem is a bit affected because she doesn't have a man, or she can't keep a man. Because the first episode, you see she breaks up with the guy breaks up with her because she wants something more serious, and the guy like, baby, nah. She gave him an ultimatum and he chose to not, to not being alive because he didn't want anything serious. Then you see the guy with Toni and he causes an issue between both of them, like, why are you with this guy, blah blah blah. Joan tries to act cool, like, it's not a problem for her, but obviously deep down that's an issue for her, and they didn't let a man get in between them. They had to let the boy go. I was like, yo, get out. It didn't happen immediately, but at some point they just had to let the boy go. It wasn't worth losing their friendship. So now you got Toni. Toni is very self-centered, has an attitude, quite bitchy, and cares about money a lot. She's very materialistic. She's very superficial. She's in a way an unlikable character, but as the show progresses, you get used to her. But you never like how she behaves. But it's funny. Like one thing about the show has a lot of lines, a lot of quips that make you laugh. Also, the people in the background laughing, that helps. So it doesn't really. It's annoying, but it never gets you it never gets her attitude or her character never gets in the way of you enjoying the show, because she's a very pivotal part of the show. You get me? And we got Maya Wilkes. She's married. She's quite bitchy as well. I think she lives in the hood or something like that. Yeah. Initially she was living in the hood. She's an assistant. How much do assistants make? Not a lot of money. And her husband Darnell is an airline baggage carrier, so they don't really have a lot of money. Plus they have a son, but she was pregnant when she was 16 and a half. But as you watch, life gets better for her and her husband, so they move out the hood. I mean, that's the goal. People want to make it out the hood, right? And she's quite bitchy and judgmental as well. As you watch, you just see that it's part of her character, man. But we still love her like that. Then we have Lynn, Searcy. The first time we see Lynn, she's saying she's moving out of Toni's house to Joan's house. What do I make of her? Lynn is a moocher. She loves to mooch off her friends. She just keeps going back to college. She has like 5 degrees. By the time you see her, she's still in college. I think she's doing a master's in something. But funny enough, you never actually see her in any class. Like, she never goes to school at any point. Even though she was in school for a couple of seasons, they never actually show her going to class at any point. And she's adopted. She's mixed race, but she was adopted by a white family. So, make of that what you want. Because Maya kind of said like, you behave like, she said you behave like a white girl for a while. She said that, did you never meet your black side of the family? That's when she said she was adopted and stuff. Then William Dent works in the same firm as Joan. He's a good friend of hers. He's just there to give things from the male perspective, and he does a lot of jokes. Like, this show is a comedy show. It has a lot of jokes in there, and some words they use a lot: bitch, heifers, and lesbians. Those 3 words, they use them so much. But as the show progresses, they stop using lesbians as much. Like, there are so many lesbian jokes in the first 4 seasons. There were just so many of them. Like, almost every other episode, there was a lesbian joke. Either it was by William, mostly by William, actually. Mostly by William, but sometimes the other girls, they use the lesbian jokes here and there. Heifers, they never stop using heifers at any point. They always use heifers. And bitch, like, I think they didn't use bitch too much in the first season, but at some point they just started using it a lot. Like, you will see in the final season, they were mentioning like, bitch is just easy to say. Like, they don't have to try anymore. When they felt they were getting old, they didn't even have to try anymore. They just said bitch. Like, it was just the easiest thing to say. They couldn't really think of any, sharp lines to speak at anybody. The show discusses a wide variety of topics that affect women, black women specifically, but they never really, even political topics, and it was set in, early 2000s to late 2000s, so it was during the George Bush era. So they make references to George Bush, the war in Iraq, and all these other things that were affecting them at the time. So it does have some political elements here and there, But I'll say that even though it discusses a wide array of topics, as a guy living in Nigeria, I can't relate to some of them. You know, I have to say the show is dated, but at the same time very current. It's dated because some things William says, if he said them today, it's going to be very controversial. But at the time, it was okay to say them on TV. And even the fact that William was there as a fifth character, I feel like if they did that show today, they wouldn't put him in the show as a main character. It would be like a side character here and there. And the focus on having a man so much, I don't think if the show was done today, that would have been the main focus, because it felt like it was definitely one of the main focuses of the show, having a man, especially Joan having a man. You can see someone like Maya uses having a husband to insult the other ones at some point. She just uses that line, at least I have a husband, I have a husband. Where's your husband? Where's your man? So the over dependence on men or their relationship with men was a heavy concept in the show, which makes it dated. Why it is current is because they still discuss some things that are happening today, which were happening at their time as well. They discuss topics like racism, feminism, relationship of black people with police, relationship of black people in the workplace, like, microaggressions here and there. You see that with William. He even quit. He quit the job like twice. But I feel like to a certain level, they never really do a deep dive into these topics. Some in a way they do, but it wasn't satisfactory. At least for some topics. Some topics they did heavy dive. Some topics that affect women directly, they did deeper dives into them. Something like miscarriage, for example. One of them has a miscarriage, and they go into the intricacies of miscarriages, adoption, and all those kind of things. And there's a heavy psychological aspect of the show. Like, they go to therapy to sort out their issues, which is, it's a good thing. And then they also give like the reasoning behind why somebody does something. The person might not accept that that's the reason they are doing it, but the friend can see that, oh yeah, the reason you are doing this thing is because you're acting out, because this other thing happened to you. So there's always a psychological link between their behavior and the reason they are behaving that way. Like, there must be a reason for their behavior, or even just their character in general. For example, Toni is superficial and materialistic because she grew up in Fresno. It's a poor place and she doesn't want to go back there. So she works hard, she makes sure that she gets all the fine things in life, because she doesn't want to go back there. That's why she was looking for a rich husband, a rich boyfriend, someone that can take care of all her needs. Even as she is a realtor, it wasn't about love, it was just about money. She loved money more than she loved the person. But you can see that two things happen. There's character development for the characters and also character unravelment. Character unravelment, that it just shows more to the characters at different points. They just shows a different side to the character that we've not seen before. Whereas character development is, say you have the same concept, right? If they had reacted a different way to the same idea and then present the same idea later on and they react, differently in a better way, that's character development. For example, telling Joan to be single was like a travesty to her. She was so hell-bent on finding a man, like it was her life purpose. But at one point, she was okay being single. Not for long though, but she was okay with it. Someone like Lynn loves to mooch so much. Like, it's annoying. I don't even know how they allowed her to do it for so many years. And that's because she didn't really know what to do with her life. She didn't have a job or anything, and she wasn't really interested. But you can see her finding herself. So it was a journey of self-discovery. Hers was slow, and it also shows you this point that it's okay to not move at other people's pace. It's okay to not be what society demands of you, but the flip side is that if you are not conforming to the norm and others around you are conforming to the norm, you are going to be a liability to them to some certain level. She challenges the idea of success. Like, what does success mean? Like, do I have to have a job to be successful? All those kind of things. And the answer many people say is yes, but to her it's like, no, I don't need a job. What if I'm happy? not having a job? Does that not mean I'm not successful? All those kind of things. So Lynn is there to challenge some ideas that society has about people, about black women. Because she's very sexually active, like almost every other episode, she's talking about someone she's had sex with. This star, she's very freaky. What I mean, her body count is high. Even though they don't show you too many of our lovers, but they show you that each of them, they show you different lovers that they've had across time, because they've had altogether so many men came and went in this show, like so many of them. Oh my days. Then you have Maya. Yeah, she just wanted to stay married, but even though her marriage seemed happy on the surface, there were just deeper issues that they had to confront. At some point she leaned on somebody else, on another man, and it affected her marriage drastically. She basically cheated on her husband, even though she wasn't apologetic when she was doing it. It was after the fact that, oh yeah, she came to her senses that, wow, she didn't heed the warnings of Joan and other friends. Like, she just wasn't listening, and you can see the reason. Like, her husband wasn't listening to her at home. Like, they weren't communicating too much. Like, there was a communication breakdown. It's like she was talking, he was hearing her, but he wasn't listening, and it affected her marriage. When she found someone that listened to her so much, she just felt safe. It also goes into what women want. Like, women want safety, they want security, they want love, they want affection, all those kind of things. So she gets divorced and they get back together eventually, but it just didn't happen magically. Like, it took them a while. She went through different lovers. Her husband almost got remarried, but he left his wife at the altar. Speaking about leaving people at the altar, William also gets left at the altar at some point, and it really weighs on him. Like, he starts to blame black women. It's like, black women, you people are all bad. This is why we go for white men, which is also a topic happening in America. Like, some black women feel like black men, when they get successful, they leave them for white. Even Kanye references, like, and when he gets money, he's going to leave your ass for a white girl. I know that's not how he said it, but I'm paraphrasing it. Gold digger. So there are just so many things going on in this show, so many topics. Some are handled properly, whereas some, I don't feel like they were complete. Like, they just didn't do enough for me. There just wasn't enough meat on the bones for me for those topics. But altogether, I really enjoyed the show, and the character development that all of them went through, it was just phenomenal to me. Like, you can see William also had the same problem Joan was having. He couldn't keep a girl. He was always trying to find a girl. At some point that Joan and William got together, I was actually kind of rooting for them, not gonna lie, because they've been so much good friends for a while. So I was just kind of rooting for them. But they were not meant for each other, so they had to separate. You get me? Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you come together, sometimes you grow apart. But one thing is that they maintain their friendship, and I really, really, really like the fact that they maintain their friendship. And speaking about friendship, you see the girlfriends, their friendship goes through many phases. They have fights, they have arguments. Sometimes they don't even speak to each other for a bit and whatnot. But they usually come back together. They have each other's backs for different things. But then Toni and Joan have a huge fight, and they separate, and they don't come back together. So the actress that plays Toni Childs, she said that she didn't really want to come back for season 7 or 8. So after 6 seasons, she was up. So they spun the story and said that she left for New York, with her child, so that her child can be close to her ex-husband, so they can have a life there. We're going to get into Toni's child, but yeah, so she leaves. So obviously the actress leaves after 6 seasons. So it's now season 7, season 8 is just the 3 girls. But I think that's why the show got cancelled, because Toni left and the show just wasn't the same without her. Like, the dynamic was, the equilibrium was tilted. You get me? Like, it was no longer a balanced ratio anymore. But then the fact that I know that Toni left after 6 seasons, the actress left after 6 seasons, kind of makes the story feel less authentic now, because they had to write her out of the story. They had to write her like she had to have a big fight with Joan that couldn't be resolved. so they had to write her off the show. Like, it just didn't feel natural when you know that fact now, because Joan always thought that no matter what they would reconcile, but we're never given the opportunity because Toni Childs left the show. Granted, they could have used another actress, but it just wouldn't have been the same. You know, when you're used to someone and they change them, like, the show never really recovers from it. There's few exceptions here and there, but generally the show never recovers from it. But yeah, speaking about character development some more, Toni Childs. Toni was so superficial. She didn't really care about anyone. You know, she was so materialistic. Even though, yeah, she was good friends with Joan. They were best friends and whatnot. But you can see how her superficiality affects that relationship. Like, you know, she doesn't apologize. If she acts out, like, Joan is the one that has to be the bigger person and go and apologize, try to make things work between them. If Joan should act like Toni, she's going to get reprimanded by her friends. If Toni should act out, it's not really such a big deal, you know. And Toni never really wanted a child. She couldn't handle being with a child, like, for 2 minutes. Like, it was like the worst thing you could do. But where character development comes in, that she gets pregnant, she falls in love, she gets married to a short man. She would never marry a short man before, but for some reason she got married to a short man, and she was always making short jokes here and there. She even got married to a white man at that, you know. Even though Toni was the only one, I think that, yeah, Toni was the only one that went out with a white guy at some point. I think the rest of them, they never went white. Yeah, Joan was always a black man. Maya, black man. Lynn, black man. I think Lynn, maybe some white men here and there, but they were never really the focus, you know. Yeah, Toni married a Jewish guy actually. And yeah, initially when she gives birth, she's scatterbrained. She doesn't really know what to do with the child. She's scared. But the character development comes in when you see her grow as a mother. She's even fighting for custody for the child. You know, when her husband divorces her, she's really begging him, please don't leave me, don't leave me. She's doing everything. But at some point, she's okay with the fact that she's getting divorced. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst fate in the world. Even though she fought hard to get him back, and he did come back, it just didn't feel right anymore, you know. So I like the character development that each of them went into. It was very solid. Even William being left at the altar, you can see how the thing shattered him, and he picked himself back up with his wife Monica. You know, he got with her a couple times. First time, she basically orchestrated her way into his life. She was just there for business, for goals, to just get him to the top, to become senior partner. But you know, the thing breaks down. They break up so many times. They make up. I think he meets her in New York. There was a New York episode. He meets her on the plane there, or he meets her in the hotel. You know, they have sex and whatnot. They have sex on the plane as well. And then Joan was trying to tell him how she feels about him, you know. But then eventually Joan tells him that she loves him. They get together. So he breaks up with Monica. But then him and Joan, like, they just say, okay, mutually we can't be together. There's no point. Yeah, he gets back with Monica again. Eventually, and now they get married. But he says something dumb. He says something foolish. They kind of break up again. Then he tries to go and get her back. Eventually wins her over. So after Toni leaves, Monica becomes like the fourth girlfriend again, but she was never the right fit. You know, she was not the person they needed. They needed Toni. But even without, I feel like Monica was actually a good replacement for Toni. I actually liked Monica. You know, she was a very beautiful black woman with full hair and everything. She was a woman that had goals. She was a woman that had principles, you know. And I rated her for that. That was a good man. And yeah, the show also deals with classism. You know, Joan is bougie and whatnot. Even, yeah, Joan is bougie. Toni is bougie as well. Maya is from the hood. You know, she gets up in life, and then you can see her when she goes back to the hood, like, oh yeah, you know, they're saying that she's changed on them, she's bougie right now, but she's like, no, I'm not bougie, I'm still the same old Maya, because she becomes an authoress, you know, and she writes a book called Oh Hell No, because she likes to say, oh hell no, oh hell no. She likes to say that a lot, so she wrote a book about it. You know, she got a good check. She wrote a second book that no one really references. Now, what now? That's the name of the book. No one really cares about the second book. So she made some good money. They moved out the hood. So when she goes back to the hood to to eat or something, people are like, oh, you changed up on us, blah blah. She's like, no, I'm still the same old Maya. I'm still. But it's okay to grow out of certain things. It's okay. And why I say Joan is bougie, you can actually see it when she meets Aaron, her final boyfriend that we never really get to see the end of it. Like when she first meets him, they meet in New Orleans. They're building houses together after Hurricane Katrina and whatnot. And then she goes to his house. When he comes back to LA, she goes to his house, and the house is very small, everything. And she just felt it just wasn't what she would normally go for. It was out of character for her. She was just being nice. So you can see where the bouginess comes into play. You can see where classism is a thing. Like she's wondering if he's broke, all these kind of things. And obviously, Toni not wanting to be with anyone that was broke at all was quite classist and egregious. Okay, Joan was the one that was more egregious. Toni's one wasn't shocking because that's basically her character, So it wasn't like when someone acts out of character, it becomes more shocking than when someone who does something crazy all the time does another crazy thing. You get me? And also, Joan leaves the law firm. She opens a restaurant, and initially things were not going well for her. She was initially like, she was excited, a new journey had begun. But soon excitement turned to, I guess, pain because the restaurant wasn't doing well. Then things picked up because she got, she was the hottest spot in LA because she slept with the writer. At one point she was dating 3 guys at the same time. She was a player. She became a player. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean? So yeah, even Lynn finally found something. Found music. Like she had some odd jobs here and there. She worked in a company to try and pay back the debt she owed her parents. Also, her student debt. She worked as a tourist for Japanese people. She worked in a bar, a karaoke bar. She worked in so many different places. She was a musician, and that's where she finally found a big break, man. Like she was in tune with the music. Lynn became successful to the point that she was actually hosting parties, giving people gifts and whatnot. Like, wow, Lynn has really come up in the world for real. She has really come up in the world. So yeah, guys, I'm just rambling up and down. Like, this is not really a cohesive or comprehensive review or discussion about Girlfriend. I just want to talk about Girlfriend because I found the show really hilarious, really entertaining, really engaging, thought-provoking, everything in between. I just have to say, it's so good to see wholesome content for Black women. They were not showing a negative light per se. They did show them in different lights, actually, the good side of them, the bad side of them. There were some stereotypes here and there, like Maya, you can say she's sort of stereotypical in some aspects. Even Toni, slightly. Even Joan and Lynn. Okay, Lynn is not stereotypical. Not necessarily. They did justice to most of the topics they discussed. One of my favorite topics they discussed was racism. And this is the episode where Lynn's sister comes. She's a white girl, but she was acting black. Everything about her, she was trying to be too black, man. She was just doing way too much. She was too extra. And I like the fact that if the girls don't like someone, especially Toni, she's gonna say, I don't like you, boo. Same thing with Maya. Maya just said, I don't like you, I don't fuck with you. And she was too comfortable about black people to the thought that I guess she thought she was black. And when she went to a black hair salon, she said the word nigger as she was singing a song. And Lynn had to take her out, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why would you say that? Because everybody, when the song was playing, she said nigga, like, everybody just paused, like, bitch, what did you say? Bitch, what did you say? So I like the fact that they discussed that topic. And Lynn had to take her sister outside to, like, straighten her out. Like, why would you say that? Like, that's so fucked up, blah, blah, blah. But they sorted everything out. So that's one of my most memorable episodes, actually. Yeah, I have to say, Darnell, I like that Darnell also got some character development, and that's Maya's husband. When they came back together, he had some more screen time. Before, it was more of a side character, but in the later seasons, he became a main character one way or the other. Big up to Darnell, man. Big up to Darnell. There's not much to say about Darnell. Even Jabari became a more stable character in the show as he grew older. You get me? So yeah, altogether, I really enjoy Girlfriends. Even though people say that after Toni left, the show dipped in quality, I didn't feel that way. I feel like the show still held its own. Yeah, I did feel that way. Okay, guys, how many tokens on Girlfriends get? Drum roll. I'll give Girlfriends 9 tokens out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was a fantastic show. I wish that they finished it. That's the reason I've gotten 10. I wish that they finished it, but it just ended there. It just ended abruptly, and that was very rude of them. Very fucking rude. I hope that it gives us like a last hurrah. You know, maybe do something on Netflix and just give us a happy ending, or just give us an ending, a proper ending. You get me? So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go now. Before I go, make sure you like. Have you seen Girlfriends? What do you think about the show? Let me know in the comments below. I'm trying to get to 1K subscribers and I need your help, so please subscribe if you haven't, and also share my videos so others can subscribe as well. I would really appreciate that. You can follow me on social media. The links will be in the description below. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go now for real, but if you want to stick around, you can watch my previous videos. Peace out.